From the Middle East, on official broadcaster of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022.
Talk Sport and Talk Sport 2.
The only place you can hear from Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs during the first few weeks of the World Cup is in their new daily podcast, H&J Back Home.
Episode 10 is now available to download and enjoy right now, as well as chatting to travel expert Simon Calder about the best way for fans to get to Qatar for the latter stages. Paul and Andy started to get excited about England's next game.
They've already started the tabloids, the random facts about Senegal. Talk about scattergun. The population is 18 million, fair enough. The national dish is rice, tomato and fish. Traditional clothing is called bubu, a colourful, loose-fitting, full-body garment made of waxy fabric or cotton. Remember a waxy fabric? What a player he was.
He was.
I mean, this is a completely useless fact, isn't it? The 52-metre African Renaissance monument in Senegal is the tallest statue in Africa. How many people are going to be picking up the sun? How many builders are going to have that at the front of their van? Saying, hey, Tone, you ain't going to believe this. What's the tallest statue in Africa?
For more of that, download Back Home with Hawksby and Jacobs and listen every day during the World Cup from wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe now to make sure you don't miss a second of Paul and Andy's take on everything in Qatar.
Whoa. Turn this up.
Got there.
Turn it up. Here we go. No, the bit we're after, right? Don't let us down, Harry Al.
No, it's a long way in, though.
Don't let us down. Here we go. Don't let us down, Harry Al. Don't let us down, Harry Al.
It's about 3 minutes into
Don't
the
let us
song.
down, Harry Al.
Because it is the best bit.
Don't let us down, Harry Al.
Here it is. Are we actually just going to...
Just let it go.
Just let it go. Just let it run.
Come on.
You know, this is the F1
let it go. Here we go.
theme tune.
I mean, how did that come into that? It's like... It's like,
right at the end of the song.
How did that go into that? That's amazing music.
It is. It's an absolute
Here
banger.
we go.
It makes me want to get into a Formula One car.
That's what it does, yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
It's amazing. England play Senegal for a place in the World Cup quarterfinals live on Talksport this Sunday evening. So here's our African football correspondent, Kwaku Afari, telling us what Gareth Southgate's side can expect to come up against.
Whipped in. Only half cleared. Oh, and put in. Kalidou Koulibaly. The captain leads by example.
Senegal's 2-1 win over Ecuador in their final group game means they'll now play England in the round of 16 on Sunday. Without injured star man Sadio Mane, it's been goals by committee for the side known as the Lions of Teranga. All 5 of their goals in this year's tournament have come from 5 different goal scorers. Going forward, Watford's Ismaila Sarr has been tasked with carrying a lot of the attacking burden for Senegal in Mane's absence. He scored from the spot against Ecuador, and his constant threat down Senegal's left-hand side is sure to give Gareth Southgate a lot to think about.
It's Sarr with the spot kick, and he rolls it into the bottom corner. The goalkeeper rooted to the spot.
His ability to cut onto his favoured right foot, beat his fullback, and potentially expose the opposition's right side of centre-back is something that Southgate and Harry Maguire will have to bear in mind when setting up against Senegal. Manager Aliou Cisse deserves a lot of credit for his progressive tactical philosophy throughout this year's tournament, with Senegal taking the game to most of their opponents. Pragmatism will have to be the name of the game against England though, if Senegal to stand any chance of making the quarter-finals of the World Cup for only the second time in their history. Chelsea's Kalidou Koulibaly, their captain and leader, and the centre-back partnership with Leipzig's Abdou Diallo provides the Senegalese with a solid foundation at the back. Koulibaly's club teammate Edouard Mendy has had to make do with a place on Chelsea's bench recently, but there's no disputing his importance to Senegal. Despite a shaky start to his World Cup campaign against the Netherlands, Mendy's produced some key saves and wins over Qatar and Ecuador, which showed why he's still his country's number one.
Yeah, it's a big game. What is your England front three to face Senegal? It's going to be a whopper. A whopper of a game. We got you covered here live on Talksport. Let's go to Max, who's an Arsenal fan. All right, Max?
Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good. Max, look, we're talking about the front three for England. It's a big decision now for Gareth Southgate. The dust has settled over the group stages, and How do you see it?
For me, I don't think you can drop Rashford after the performance the other night.
I agree.
I think Kane has to keep his place as skipper. I'm probably going to be slightly biased as an Arsenal fan in saying that I think I'd like to see Saka come back into it. I think he was a bit quiet in the first 2 games, but he's been so informed for Arsenal. I'd like to see him come into the right, drop Foden into the 10. I think Hendo did an unbelievable job in coming in, being that leader for that one-off game. But I think I'd like to see him probably dropped and go with Rice and obviously Bellingham next to him. That would probably be my starting team.
Guys, it's a popular choice, and it's a hard one to argue with because of the goals. But Rashford's performance, the first 45, it did concern me. It did concern me.
Joint top goal scorer in the tournament, Jace.
Yeah, I know, but it concerned the performance, ball retention, concerned me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not making this up. It's a fair point. Yes, his goals. Yes, he scored. The free kick, come on. The better goalkeeper saves that. Mendy saves that, by the way. Can I just say that? Mendy saves that.
I don't know.
He does. He
rifled it. I mean, the keeper moves, but
he said, look, I don't want this to appear as a pile on Rashford because I'm so pleased for him. He's 3 goals in the World Cup, unbelievable. Yeah. And do you know what? If he plays, good luck to the boy. And of course, I'm an England fan. I want him to do well. For me personally, I felt disappointed in his performance overall, with and without the ball. He grew into the game and got better. But that was not... The goals do give you a little bit of a slanted opinion about the performance.
What's his job?
Well, he's got many jobs.
His job's to score goals, mate.
Yeah, but he's got lots of jobs, right? One of them is, but ball retention is another one. His passing was poor, his decision making, first touch, and he looked nervous. I thought he looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, but after he got a couple of goals, once he scored the free kick, then all of a sudden the confidence blooms. So you got to forget them 45 minutes where he was maybe poor.
All right, I buy that.
Now you go, right, he's confident. He's confident. How can I leave this boy out? He's just had an amazing 45 minutes of football.
Do you know what? It's a fair point. I'm not saying it's not.
You can't judge him on the first 45 before he scored the 2 goals. No, you've got to judge him on now how his confidence and his headspace is going to be now.
You're right, but the first 45 actually concerned me. I thought he was really poor, Not just.
Yeah,
but I thought he was
probably a little bit nervous, Jace.
Well, you saw that,
fine. Then all of a sudden he's blossomed.
Well, do you know what? If he does play him, then Southgate sees that in training and so on, then fair enough. I'll go with that decision. But me personally, I didn't see enough. Didn't see Rashford off the bench after what he did at the week against Wales and what he did in the first game coming off the bench against Iran. Still has a lot to... I'm not saying you don't play him. I'm just saying I don't start him.
Okay, all right, let's go to John, who's a Man United fan and an Accrington Stanley fan. All right, John
Boy.
Hello, good evening, gentlemen. I'm glad you mentioned Accrington. It is my favourite club, although I'm a lifelong United supporter.
Okay.
Okay, the front line for England, as far as I'm concerned, the old saying, you don't mess with success. I would start Kane, I would start Rashford, and I'd start Foden. Why? Because they can run. They'll make the defenders, they'll tire out their Senegal defence chasing after them, even if they never get a ball across. As regards subs for them, I'd like to see Grealish, and as a United supporter, I can honestly say I think Grealish is a great player, although he wears the wrong shirt in the English league, and I like Saka. And I know Arsenal's the old United nemesis, but again, I like Saka. He did well against Iran. He runs like a gazelle. He goes in there. He fights for the ball. Good luck to the boy. I want him out there. And for Kane, I save a special comment. Kane, as far as I'm concerned, earns his money when he walks on the field. I don't care if he doesn't score goals. There's 2 things Kane does. Number 1, no defender with any brains at all would ever leave Harry Kane alone in the penalty area, especially on set plays. Secondly, I think Kane inspires the younger players. He has a calming influence on the team overall. There's nobody I think would do a better job captaining England than Harry Kane. I want to see him out there. That's all really I've got to say,
I think
gentlemen.
that's fair. Kane starts. That's not up for debate, I don't think. Kane's not going to not play. He's not going to not start. So he starts. He's captain. We're a better team with him in it. He is a player that can bring players around him. What's really noticeable is the fact that even though Kane hasn't scored, every other player in and around that front line has. Sterling scored. Rashford scored. Saka scored. Foden has scored. So all of those players that that actually occupy the space that Kane so often leaves have scored. So his role is being a little bit underestimated, and don't forget the assists and the role that he plays as well. The goal he's got, the setup for Foden was brilliant.
Yeah. John boy, you still there, John? John, you've got a great radio voice. You know who you sound like? You sound like Kenneth Walthamstone, who said they think it's all over.
I remember him. I go back to the Munich air crash with United, so I'm an old boy. And yes, I remember Kenneth Walthamstone very well.
Can you do it for us?
I can't imitate him, but...
Go on,
try.
Try, John. You've got a great radio voice. They think it's all over.
Well, I was once on the radio when I first arrived in Canada, where I live now. I got a part-time job on an American radio station playing as a disc jockey. So that was in the early 70s. So I've spent some time on the radio, but not lately. But I'll always like radio. I like talk shows. I like calling shows. I think you boys do a great job.
Thanks, Sean.
By the way, my sympathies go out to your mate who's there, who's only got one ball. I feel very sorry for him, but that makes him a very singular individual, in my opinion.
John, give us the. They think it's all over.
No, I'm here.
Go on.
No, say it, John.
Yeah.
Go on, do it. Do it.
Do Kenneth.
Kenneth Walston. What do you want me to call a game?
No, say they think it's all over. Yeah. It is now.
No, it's all over for now.
I mean, it could have been so good. It could have been so good.
100% wrong. It's all right.
It is over now, John.
It's a great call. It's great. Maybe we didn't explain it very well.
What do you mean? It's not hard to explain. You sound like Kenneth. Say the quote. I mean, it wasn't that difficult. It really wasn't.
Can you imagine if that was a quote that Kenneth...
Back pages.